was a hypo, and I'm welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I am Jared. I'm here with Robert and Teladia. What's up, gentlemen?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And today we are doing actually Teladia pick. We are discussing Next Avengers Hero of Tomorrow, otherwise known as, okay, it's not officially a sequel to the Ultimate Avengers movies, but the reason why I count it as that is like when they use so much of the Ultimate Avengers movies, including the soundtrack, I'm like, okay, this is pretty, I can take this as a sequel to those movies.
Right.
That's what I'm saying with that. So basically, you know what's kind of funny? This is essentially another retelling of Age of Ultron.
Right.
A little bit, except less confusing and with less time travel.
Although I believe this was before Age of Ultron.
Oh, interesting. That's kind of funny.
Well, it was because, as I told you, they appear in the comics, and that was all set up for Age of Ultron.
Okay, I see what they're doing with. I see how that goes. That goes. But so essentially, this is the movie about the kids of the Avengers teaming up with Iron Man and the Vision and the Hulk later to battle Ultron, who has essentially taken over most of the world. He hasn't taken over Asia yet, but he's taken over most of the world.
Basically, it's a lot like, have you ever read the final issue of the second volume of What If, where it had what if they, the heroes stayed on Secret Wars and they had kids and everything. It's similar to that.
Yeah, essentially. So, Teladia, what made you pick this film for movie night?
Well, because we got to complete the trilogy, right? I just thought we had to complete the trilogy. I mean, we've seen the first two Avengers, Ultimate Avengers. So why don't we complete that? It has a big baddie, which is Ultron, and on top of that, we gotta see a really old Hulk.
Yeah, old man Hulk, except way less. It's either Maestro or it's like an old man Logan. It's way better than that version of old man Hulk.
He has the look of the Hulk the End version. He has
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. And so I kind of like how when you look at like all kids, you have Torunn, who's obviously Thor's kid, obvious in terms of like appearance. You have Azari, who's Black Panther and Storm's kid, who gets Storm's. So he doesn't get Storm's power to control the weather. He can just shock people, I guess. I still don't get how he has Panther powers, but I guess it's because of the heart-shaped herb. You have James, who is Captain America and Black Widow's kid. Again, which is why I kind of count this as canon to those movies.
Kind of. I mean, I get it. It kind of does, but it also kind of doesn't.
Yeah, the kind of doesn't. The part where it runs into issues is Hank Pym's kid, but the way I kind of explain it is that maybe Janet was pregnant during that movie, or she didn't know.
Youngest, but he's the youngest. Your logic would make him the oldest because he would have been the first one born.
Oh.
Remember, he's the youngest. He's the kid of the group.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of contradicts it.
I'm sorry. I had to point
Dang it, Robert. You had to burst my bubble.
I do. Hey, I point out the facts. That's all I do. I point out the facts.
I will say he has the most annoying voice of the I'm like, shut up, kid.
I'm double checking who did the voice. Hold on.
Yeah, because the voice is too squeaky. I'm like, there's young voice.
Aiden Juman. Let me see who that is.
It's just, I was just like, will you just stop? It's also, you know what's kind of funny? I love how the world always goes to crap when Thor leaves it.
Yeah.
Like you know what's kind of funny, Teladia? They did a story called like Avengers Twilight, where Thor had to leave Earth for stuff. Yep. Then like bad guys take over the Earth. Thor shows up and like kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really feel like Thor was on a disservice in this, especially. Why put Torunn through what he went through when he had a reason to go through it? She didn't.
I know. But it's like, so you're telling me, so Thor left Earth because Odin died, Odin died, and he said his responsibility is to Asgard and not Earth. Since when? Thor has always felt that like Earth was part of his responsibilities, as far as I know, right, Robert?
Yep, definitely. Well, one of his responsibilities. Now, granted, one thing I did like that it was either Ewing or Cates who put it, where every time, why is Thor always so happy when he comes back to Midgard? Because time has no holding on him. So for all he knows, he keeps on losing track of time. That when he comes back, he feels like much longer has passed.
Okay.
By the way, I just found something interesting. The voice of James Rogers, that's son of Steve and Natasha, is Noah Crawford, aka Young Earl from My Name Is Earl.
Oh, interesting.
Among a few other shows and everything, but that was his most reoccurring role.
And I love where we meet Francis Barton and then Hawkeye's kid, and then he spends the entire time trying to hit on Torunn.
Yep, even though she has a liking for James, of course.
So you're telling me that the Superman character and the Wonder Woman character kind of like each other. Isn't that interesting?
And yet the Batman character is wanting her in this version.
I know. Isn't that really funny how that works? Fun fact, this is actually where I was introduced to Black Panther and Storm and Captain America and Black Widow. Yeah, with Cap and Black Widow, it's I know it's kind of funny, Robert. I thought they were building up to that in the Winter Soldier. They didn't, obviously, but then, I mean, seriously, Cap and Black Widow don't really get together unless it's Barnes, right?
Even that, though, that's something that's been a fan favorite, but it's always depending on creators and all that. It always depends on it. It's one that makes sense. It's one that works. But remember, that's still a newer thing.
I will say, I love in the Kelly Thompson Black Widow book where like they play off of the fact that she's been with Hawkeye and Bucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cameron says they make more sense.
Yeah. We've said that before.
All right. I'm gonna prep this. I don't know what Joss Whedon was thinking.
Oh wait.
Got it.
I was about to say.
Got it. But yeah, I don't know what that individual was thinking.
Oh, I just realized something though. You do realize this was well before the second Avengers movie where we had Tony create Ultron.
This
is well before the Age of Ultron movie, obviously. Because this is before the Age of Ultron.
Or the comic.
Movie. I'm saying, yeah, this is well before any of that.
Well, it makes sense too. So,
well, here it does, as opposed to it being Hank. But I'm just saying, this was technically the first time it was set up.
Which one say, Teladia?
So, Ultimate Avengers came out 2010, correct?
This movie came out in 2010. The other came out before that. So
this came out in 2008.
Wait, this came out. Wait, what?
Yes, it did. 2008.
So I'm just wondering, did they make a prequel to this? That's what I'm wondering.
No, they didn't. No, because Teladia, technically, this isn't the third movie in that group of movies.
It's technically not. There's a lot of connections. A lot of people, have assumed it was, but it's not really. There's too many There's too many differences still. Which
kind of is nice because I like that. Like that Avengers cast doesn't get wiped out.
True. Yeah.
Yes. This was before the comic.
Most of them don't get wiped out.
Tevia says Kevin Feige did help make this movie. Where's that from? From?
I have no clue. I am looking that up.
Yeah, the MCU was loosely inspired by his movies. Not necessarily the movies, but the Ultimate comics. The Ultimates, essentially. Yeah, and
I don't see anything that says that.
Yeah, but and Cameron, no, it was before. It came up before because, as Robert said, these characters were briefly brought in by He Who Must Not Be Named into Marvel Comics in the lead up to Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So apparently he was an executive producer on it. He was an executive producer on a lot of these animated movies.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So yeah, he was an executive producer on this one, Hulk versus and Thor Tales of Asgard as far as the movies.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay, so I will give him that, but I don't think that was something that he just told him to take from this.
Yeah, and just because he wasn't like a producer on it, it doesn't mean he had like a lot of like influence in there. Yeah.
He was probably
Robert,
Sorry.
Speaking of Feige, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Rob Liefeld saying that
I don't blame
Feige
him.
does not respect creators?
That's hard to say, but given how
Brubaker has even come out in the past and says, yeah, they do not treat the comic creators.
And given how, which makes me wonder, maybe Ike had a point to a degree of forcing the comic creators on that group they originally had, which of course Feige, as soon as he got absolute control, got rid of it all.
I'm like, why would you? Because these are the guys that know the characters inside and out.
That's probably why. It's similar to because we also think about it. As soon as he got rid of them, I think that's when the movie started to slowly deviate. I think Kevin started to feel he knew better.
Yeah, I'm like,
which to a degree, I would say better than Greg Berlanti at the Arrowverse. I do think Feige does know it better by comparison.
A little bit. Let me put it this way: the way that DC Studios is set up is ideal. That you have the creative guy is the comic guy, while the business guy is the executive. That makes a lot of sense in terms of how that's like set up. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel tries to copy that in the future.
And we know Gunn is open to having some comic creators on, even though I question his choices because he should not be named within his group.
No, well, let me put it this way. At least Gunn brought the Superman creative to the set and made a big deal of like highlighting their work. That's why I say again, as you know, Robert, I have my problems with Gunn. As I said last night, this is not one of them because since he came in, I noticed that at the end of all the trailers, they started putting a little blurb saying, here's where you can find the comics that inspired this.
Not only that, you know what apparently someone pointed out on Daredevil Wolverine?
What?
Not Daredevil Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine. Apparently it says Daredevil was created by Frank Miller.
Oh.
Elektra was,
but Daredevil, no.
That is a bad typo. It should have said Elektra because Daredevil didn't even appear in the movie.
No, yeah, exactly.
I think it was a mistake. It meant to say Elektra, not Daredevil.
Yeah,
for some reason they put Daredevil on it.
And Cameron says the man forbid anyone from reading from the crew reading the comics to make sure.
Was that his orders?
Well, I do know that at least at Marvel Studios is considered a red flag on your application if you know the comics.
Oh yeah, and I think even the actress who's played Kamal Khan has been more like she does it, like Gunn is.
Well, she has headbutted on. She has headbutted with Feige before.
Okay, is there any proof to what Mac just claimed?
Yes, yes. According to John Cena,
that Gunn forbid him to read it.
Yeah, he said don't read the Peacemaker comics.
Oh, to be fair, given how there is that version of Peacemaker and he wanted to do something different, I kind of get it.
But again, if you're gonna be, I'm the guy that goes as close to the comic as can.
I agree.
You shouldn't deviate that much.
But when he was doing Peacemaker, he wasn't in the fully in the running yet for.
No, but he does pride himself as going as close to the comics as he can.
Which is accurate. I mean, for the most part, again, if it needs
for the most part, it's just It's just if you don't want to follow the comics, or if you don't like the comics version of the character and you want to adapt, and you have a story in mind, don't adapt that character then.
Agreed. Oh, and I will not argue that way. I just wanted to check if that was true or not. That's all.
Yeah, it is true. But going back to it's I remember Kamala Khan was disputing with Feige. She's like, this Earth isn't 616.
Yeah, because it's not.
It's not. They even did that in the Spider-Verse movie. They actually gave like the Earth designation on that, and I'm like,
And he made
okay.
a joke. It's not 616. I think they made the joke even that it's not 616.
Yeah, exactly. Let me put it this way: if they had said this was Earth 1610, I would believe that more because that's like the ultimate like Earth, and they took a lot of inspiration from the Ultimate comics. But 616, no, absolutely not.
Okay, by the way, oh yeah, he did get John Ostrander a cameo in the Suicide Squad movie. That is true.
I know that. That's cool. But again, my point is Gunn goes to great lengths to make sure the creators are properly credited and respected.
Mm-hmm.
You
DC's
could not
done that. DC's done that in general.
DC is way better than Marvel at doing that. Leagues better.
I mean, come on, we've already acknowledged DC have been way better at if a creator dies than acknowledging them, whereas Marvel for the longest time kept on doing copy and pasted obituaries.
DC did a whole thing in their books when Stan Lee died.
They did that whole entire Just Imagine for the guy who only worked with them twice, both for that project and the Superman retrospective, and he was the main head of the competition. But they respected a man that much.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point there. DC, I don't like a lot of what DC does, but they take care of, compared to Marvel, they take care of the creators way better.
I still remember. What did they do for Perez? They raised something for both of them. Would double us both for his birthday if he lived to it, which he did, and as a tribute when he eventually did pass, because they all knew it was coming, and they got so many creators. They even got Todd McFarlane to do something for it. McFarlane to do something for it. What did Marvel do? Waited till he died and just reprinted some pages from Avengers finale that showed him holding a toast, a glass thing of toast. They just reused his artwork.
It's not like he wrote it's not like he drew some of the some of the most iconic Marvel stories that they base movies off of. Oh, no.
Exactly. That's what they did. It felt like the only person they went out of their way for a tribute was John Romita Sr. because Jr. was working for them. I think they realized we can't piss off Jr.
I know. Yeah, Cameron says, don't get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd from Earth 1999999. Yeah, that's good. I love that.
Oh, by the way, Kevin asked a good question. Which Kid Avenger?
James.
I'd say James, but close. Torunn is close.
I like James because he goes through the whole reluctant leader character arc and stuff.
I loved how Torunn and Ultron, we would have words with thee.
Yes. I love how she talks like Thor. I'm like, even though she's not raised with Thor. Well, she was technically raised with Thor at first, but still. Marv Wolfman got on a cameo too. I love where he goes, make it out to Marv.
Yep, you have that. They even went out of their way. Because again, DC and Warner Brothers do show more respect, way more respect. They still make sure that that the creators get compensation and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whereas Marvel and Disney could care less.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point. And it's sad because when you would think that they would take a really good care about, particularly Marvel with the MCU, it's like even Ed Brubaker was talking about how he barely got anything for like Winter Soldier.
No, he got paid more for his cameo than he did for the royalties.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, he literally wrote the story that you're adapting. What are you doing?
Exactly.
He created the Winter Soldier, not Bucky, but this identity of him. He created this character.
And the story.
And the story. Yes, exactly. You're gonna not do that? What are you doing?
I mean, now, I remember I originally once felt it was a good thing they got rid of the creators enforcing things, mostly because they were pushing what Perlmutter had wanted, which I think that was the double-edged sword. Would you agree with that? That was the double-edged sword of the creator?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I do think Marvel, the MCU was better off when you had that, like, for lack of a better term, council of creators.
The think tank.
Yes, because you know what you have from there? Because you could run the scripts by these guys and say, okay, is this something Iron Man would say? Is this something Thor would say?
And yet some things still slip by, like Black Widow and Hulk, Although Mike,
Yeah, but it was less. It was less than it is now, because a lot of times now
it's like you don't even bother.
the Thor 4 would have turned out the way it was if they had consulted Jason Aaron.
Exactly. And
honestly, if they had consulted, if they had the think tank now, we would have actually gotten the Gore story that we should have gotten.
Yep. I mean, there's stuff to like about Thor, Love and Thunder still.
There's stuff I like about it, but the problem is there's too much I don't think it would have been as comedic. They would have been like, can you please stop this? Thor would never make these jokes.
Exactly. And then Eternals, good Lord, Eternals. The prime example of Inhumans was treated more respectfully than Eternals was.
Making Icarus just evil Superman. Like,
not just that, but to all the again, I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. My favorite pro teacher who has to be about the one where Tristan and I went over the game in Eternals, and she was all like, wait, what? Every time I told her about the different characters, like,
because she had only seen the movie.
She had only seen the movie up until that point. So yeah, I would tell her, she's like, who's that? Is that character? Wait, you mean this? Oh,
that's Makari is not a deaf woman. He's actually a dude.
He's a dude, and Ajax is a dude.
Yeah, they like race and gender practically everyone in that movie.
Exactly, just about everyone, or they drop certain characters. Again, Ajax, it was never the leader.
Yeah, it was Icarus that was the leader, right?
Well, no. It was Xeris, I believe.
Okay, it was a different. It was a different character, but still, I'm like, again, why would you?
Some things were a little. Oh yeah, and Sprite.
Yeah.
Makari.
I read the comic afterwards, and I'm like, who are these people? Who is this dude that's a nurse? That's Makari.
Like, wait, and that's exactly what the Trish was saying. She's like, wait, or when I brought about Sita, she's like, wait, you mean Angelina Jolie's kid?
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that. It was just.
Cersei was on the Avengers. Didn't know that.
Yep, she was.
A few times, but anyway. So going back to this movie, we're getting really far away from this.
We are.
So but the other thing that I do like about this, it is nice to see, even though it's briefly, some X-Men like acknowledgement, because Storm is Panther's mother in this. So I'm like, okay, there you go. Now, what did you guys think of the Iron Avengers concept? I thought that was actually that's something Tony would definitely do.
Definitely. I would agree with that.
And how, like, the Giant Man one is just a giant robot. And I liked how the Panther one could turn into a panther. Because again, that's the other thing that that they carried over from the Ultimate, or like that they brought over from Ultimate 2, because it's like,
well, who was Thor's wife? It was probably Steph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. I would say so.
I don't think it was Jane, because they did not imply anything about her being part human.
Yeah, exactly. If she was pure Asgardian, which she most likely was, plus it would make sense of her having a sword.
Yep, and also you can look at Hulk versus Thor. They definitely at this point you had writers that were leaning towards that. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, people want to pair Sif with. I always notice, one couple with Sif, coupling with Sif, that I actually feel was an interesting one. Her and Beta Ray Bill. Those two have actually been. The two are very close. I don't know if she reciprocates it, but Bill definitely has a loving for her.
Oh yeah, they did kind of have a friendship even in the Walt Simonson Thor run.
Well, yeah, but it's become a bit more tighter than that. But I don't know if she's reciprocated it.
Mm-hmm. And then Kirby says, "I remember watching this show regularly as a kid." I think
it was meant to become a show. It was meant to become a show.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you think about it, they set up a show, or at least a sequel to this, at the end of this movie. Where they're like, okay, so Ultron is dead, but we're going to go liberate the world because now we're the Avengers.
I got to say, though, I did like how this was a reconstruction of the kid hero.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing. And yes, it is kind of kiddie or like in terms of tone, but it still maintains that consistent like.
Well, it makes it clear that you can't just throw them into anything because their age will come into effect.
Yeah, but what I mean is that I do like how even though it was like kid characters, it still maintained a level of darkness. There was a balance to it because even the previous two had that dark feeling, but it's because it's like an adult. It's a movie featuring adult characters,
and it is said. Word of God has said that Francis's mother was Mockingbird.
Oh, okay. Yep, that works because Hawkeye and Mockingbird were a thing for like a really long time
until she died, and then only came back during Secret Invasion.
Yeah, exactly. And he was Ronin at that point, I think, right?
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But so let's see. Yeah, Ultron was also really scary. His first appearance in this movie, where it's like the camera's rotating, and he goes, "Located Avengers, located target Iron Man," and as the Iron Man image comes by, it's the Ultimate Avengers armor as well.
Right. Again, now that could be a case of reusing assets or design.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just I love how that happens because even when he shows up in the Iron Man armor, it's not that design. It's a cool design though. How he has like jets that like actually open up in the back.
Yep. Also,
they did a lot of really cool stuff there.
And I gotta say, Tom Kane did a great job as being both Tony and Ultron.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Yep.
He's like every old character.
He's done more than that. He was also Professor Utonium from Powerpuff Girls and all that. Unfortunately, ever since his stroke, he has not been doing any acting.
I see. I understand that.
Yeah, thankfully he's still alive, and he is. Some people are saying maybe someday, but not likely.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the movie, I'm actually curious why we didn't get a sequel. I think it's because it underperformed.
And unfortunately, I thought a lot of these things are done, especially unfortunately. The main reason why these movies came up, or they were able to put all these movies out, it was a contract with Lionsgate that they were allowed a specific number of movies.
Yeah, I think and it's probably at this point they got to the end of the contract, saw they weren't getting the financial returns, and were like, okay, you know what? Let's just cut it off at the base here and just be done with it.
In fact, I think was this the last one of that contract? I wonder. I think it might have been. I think it might have been.
Says, before I watched this movie, I did always wonder how did Ultron wipe out the X-Men and Spider-Man.
Well, because they didn't have the rights to those characters.
I mean, they kind of did because Storm's in this movie.
Not directly. They had to be vague about it.
Oh yeah, this was when Marvel didn't have the rights to the X-Men. So as far as
not even that. Not even that. It was also the fact that and actually no, they still had a couple more movies left. They still had Hulk versus came after Next Avengers, then Planet Hulk, and then finally Thor: Tales of Asgard.
But still, this movie probably underperformed, so they're like, okay, you know what? We're done with this movie thing.
Yep, this one was in 2008, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and the Fantastic Four, where Ultron is like a really tough, like Terminator-esque villain, and there's any number of ways he could do it. I mean, wasn't it like in the comics where if he touches you, he could turn you into an Ultron drone?
Some versions. I think that's become too dangerous of an ability.
I mean, I know it was at this time because when you get to Age of Ultron, that's what he does.
Yeah, this was also written during the peak of Craig Kyle and Chris Yost, doing so much writing. You don't see much for them these days.
Oh yeah, because at this point they were doing like a lot of Marvel animation. I mean, you also had EMH and these Spider-Man and Fantastic Four shows that were all like somehow part of the same continuity.
Exactly. I mean, Chris Yost he's worked on some of them. Like he worked on one of the Thor movies, for example.
Mm-hmm. So did Sam Liu, and we had him on the show.
Yep.
I love that.
But
Yeah.
Craig Kyle had written Thor Ragnarok with Chris Yost. And they were writers or at least story people on all of these anime movies except for Planet Hulk. And they worked on X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yep. Speaking of characters, I am curious about something. Did they? I'm curious about something. Did they even appear in the comics or went nowhere?
Oh yeah,
you mean the kids? Robert,
yes,
elaborate.
Yes, a version of them did right during. In fact, funny enough, I just looked up on the Marvel Wiki. 2 variations of them appeared.
Okay.
One that got killed off. The other one just got ignored.
Okay. Cameron asks, Robert, what do you think of the new Fantastic Four movie trailer?
My only issue is Ben's voice. I think I've said that before.
Oh, okay.
My only issue is Ben's voice. Ben, I sent you the image, by the way, if you want to share it.
Yeah, sure. By the way, so Teladia, your favorite part of the movie? And Teladia is not speaking, so
I already said mine. Ultron, we would have words with thee.
Yeah. All right, so then we have this. All right, so there you go. Yeah, see, drawn by John Romita. Yeah, it's clearly those characters. Some of the character designs are slightly tweaked, but still.
Yep, like Hank Jr. is clearly looking older. But yeah, then of course he killed them off.
And Terry says, well, that's a shame because I would love to see these characters interact with more of the Avengers.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they would have to be an alternate, multiversal thing anyway, because they don't want to cement that this is the future. They never do.
They never do that with any of these characters. It's like even with the Tom King Wonder Woman stuff, it's like, well, let me put it this way. We're never going to get to the future where there's no more Diana or Clark or Bruce. With Marvel, they'll do books that take place in that time period, but let me put it this way. The backlash to 5G solidified why that'll never end.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because they could do like side books, but I think they can't do it. It would be a multiversal thing, because even Marvel and DC both, they don't like to establish what the future is. I mean, even with Future State, they called it a possible future, even though it was basically them redoing all the stuff they already had the art for 5G. Cameron says, I mean, let's be honest, who actually thought this was a canon future? None of these movies I take as canon. Let me put it this way. The animated movies I never take as a canon future to the comics. They would never do that. There's no way.
Right.
We could also count Spider-Man 2099 as an alternate future. Well, that may be a canon future, because doesn't Spider-Man 2099 come to the main Marvel timeline at one point? Robert?
Wait, repeat that? Oh,
doesn't
yeah. That is an alternate future. Although then they keep on playing it up like it is a future. To be fair though, 2099 is so far in the future, it could very well be the future.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not. Yeah, and there's plenty of stuff that they could go with that. But so let me ask you this: what Kid Avengers would you have liked to see if they did a sequel? Kid Hulk?
Maybe no. Scar.
Hey, there you go. That's Scar. How you do it. Except Scar. Not the She-Hulk version of Scar.
No. Well, in fact, we just know how he looks. We even know how he acts. We don't. Hey, I'm not judging that just based off of his look, dude.
I know, but they could have.
Well, again, we don't know how he's going to act, so I'm not judging.
All right. So what other?
Well, Cameron beat me to it.
Yeah, you would have done that. They would have probably done a Mayday version. Well, here's the thing, though.
If they had the rights, remember, Lionsgate did only had the rights to Avenger characters. That was it.
Okay, so let's say ignoring, Elektra's kid, they could have done. Well, let me see. Ignore the X-Men and the Spider-Man characters because they wouldn't have had the rights to that. This
Okay.
was only Avengers characters.
Maybe not one that's existed, but I could make an original character. The daughter or son, probably daughter, just to be interesting, of Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
Yeah, him and Clea.
Namor's kid. Does Namor have a kid?
Well, again, I would say, I'm saying we're just going by if they were to give us any kid of the Avengers.
But was Namor? I mean,
Namor, I don't know. Namor's not an Avenger. He would not have fit under that. Namor has always been that hate, especially by that point. That was still when he was owned by Universal.
Well, plus even with the only team I remember Namor being in at the most part was the X-Men.
And the Defenders.
And the Defenders, obviously, but I'm just saying that the teams that like I was reading, it was the X-Men because they made him the first.
Very briefly.
Briefly, extremely briefly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but, that did not.
Let's go with characters that have been on the Avengers. Carol Danvers' kid.
Yeah. Oh, you mean America Dream?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't know? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Look her up. American Dream Marvel.
Or, well, obviously, I don't mean Marcus.
No.
And caveat, we said Avengers characters, not Scarlet. Scarlet Witch is still an X-Men.
Oh, no. She would have been considered an Avenger by this point.
But she's still a mutant.
No. That was the weird thing. Quicksilver, because they have been Avengers for so long, longer than they had ever been anything else, they were under the Avengers. Always have been.
Okay, I'll count that. That works. Reptile.
Why do you think that the MCU was able to use them?
Because they took away the mutant part.
No. But they had to remove removing the mutant part did not just automatically give them the rights.
No, but I think that they could use them if they didn't refer to them as mutants.
No. That was a case. That was a case where both companies own them.
Okay.
Both companies own them. Just one could call them a mutant, the other one couldn't. And technically, if you really want to be technical, originally they weren't mutants.
Okay, I can go with that.
Originally, way back in their creation.
And by Mac, what kid would Reptile be of?
Reptile wouldn't be of anyone's kid. He would just be a new hero.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that too. Just have a new.
You could do that. You could have new heroes popping up.
Mm-hmm.
But
that would happen, I would assume. And obviously, yes, as was brought before, the kid of Daredevil and Elektra. There's one.
Yep.
Cassie Lang stature, that works.
Yep. Or technically, if you really wanted to, just like they teased Storm but couldn't use her, you could tease Elektra with Wolverine because there is precedent.
I would rather just do Daredevil as.
What? I will show you who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is a good character named Wild Thing.
Oh God, is that like a man thing?
No, dude. Hold on.
Again, I love man things. Like comic was called giant size man thing.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, let me see this. Okay, yeah. I'll share it.
She's from the MC2. She was from the MC2.
What was the MC2 universe?
That was Spider-Girl.
Okay.
Basically, they would expand more on them and everything. But yeah, also, we cannot bring up any of the F4. We cannot bring, when we're talking about this, because they didn't have the rights to the F4 either.
Well, plus, if they use Franklin, he could just snap his fingers and revert everything back to normal. That's the thing.
Yeah, did you hear people a rumor that Sue might be pregnant and have Franklin early in this first movie, which would explain why the actress brought up about being a mom?
Interesting. Teladia, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
All right. What was your favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part of the movie had to be the part where, Captain, what's it called? James was looking at all the statues, all Captain America, Black Panther, and like I think he was like what's the word I'm looking for? He thought they were active.
Oh, you mean when he saw the Iron Avengers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting if like they made it so like the Avengers' bodies died, but Tony put them in the robots.
That would have been cool.
Now there's a what if right there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Hulking could be fun. Wild Thing is fun. That's a good one. But Teladia, what kid would you want to see in this if they did do more movies?
That's how. Azuri.
Who's Azari?
That what's it called? Black Panthers. And...
No. I mean, if this had gotten more sequels, what other kids of the of Avengers characters would you have wanted to like be introduced?
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, that what if I mentioned? You want to know who the kids were in that?
What?
You had Crusader, the daughter of Steve and Rogue. You had
Wait, Steven who?
Rogue. Remember this,
Captain America and Rogue?
Remember, this is the Secret Wars heroes that were stuck on that
planet. I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, you had Mustang, who was Hawkeye and She-Hulk's kid. You had Firefly, the son of, get this, Human Torch and Wasp. You had Torunn, the daughter of Wolverine and Storm, and you had Bravado, the son of Thor and the Enchantress.
Mm-hmm. That works. All right, so Teladia, as you were saying?
So I was like thinking, maybe we could do the daughter of Ultimate Wolverine.
Why Ultimate Wolverine?
Why Ultimate? Because
well, again, Avengers characters. Because remember, they didn't have the rights to the X-Men.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good.
That's a hard one then.
Yeah,
that's really, really hard.
Yeah, because it's not like
because
and you can't use the X. You can't use the X-Men. You can't use the Fantastic Four
or Spider-Man
or Spidey.
Tavia brings up Iron Man.
Oh wait, too bad she wasn't created by this point. But nowadays, you would probably use V.
D. Who's D?
V. No, V. Vision's daughter.
Oh, here's another one. This is a character that I would invent. The kid of Hyperion and Power Princess.
I don't know where those rights would fall under.
They appear in Avengers books,
but we don't know where they. But and yes, Cameron, I can believe that happening because those two have had an on and off stuff, and in this case, they've been stuck on Battle World in this what if.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way,
and I mean, he did kind of have feelings for her, at least in the Simonson run, from what I remember.
Oh, and they've always have had on and off. Heck, in Jurgen's Thor, in that future, those two got together and had a son who just got brought back in Immortal Thor.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Oh, how about the winter? And see, the thing is, how about the kid of the Winter Soldier? But it's not like he has a mother. It's a clone.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting one.
Like Hydra tried to clone the Winter Soldier, and the young Avengers stumble upon him. He's like in a vat, kind of like how they used to freeze the Winter Soldier in between operations.
Ooh,
right.
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. You could do that.
Yeah, their kid would be around by then.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, it's a more recent thing, but something connected to Loki.
By the way, that was such a missed opportunity in the Loki show where they made Sylvie just a Loki variant because they said she enchanted people.
I know.
And she was blonde. I'm like, you didn't make her a Mora?
But it does leave a Mora out there.
I know. It's just then you just teased us with that, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, but still, Loki's another show that newer Marvel came out with that I actually enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Now here's an interesting conversation I want to have here. How would we do this movie but with DC characters?
Okay, and I'm saying this based off of what DC would most likely do, not what you guys would want.
Let's tell you what. Let's do both. Let's do what we would want to do and what
know.
DC would do.
I already
Let's do
know
what
one
DC would do first.
Obviously, the prodigy of Superman and Lois, obviously.
John. So it would be John.
It will be John, or if they did some original character.
Isn't it kind of stupid where they made it with John that like he says Shazam and then he turns into like a kid John?
That is weird. They do leave it open that if he says, what happens if he says Shazam again?
It's also kind of creepy that he could do that and he's still cuddling with his boyfriend. I'm like, that doesn't look good.
Oh, wait. What do you mean it's too late? She's tied to Thor and Loki. I just simply said they could still bring Amora in since she hasn't been introduced.
Yeah, that's what he means. But okay, so in terms of they could bring this would be the time to at least canonize that Batcat book and use Helena Wayne.
Or use the one that Jeff Johns had created. Either
or
one.
that. Honestly, do that one because then you don't even have to worry about canonizing something. She already is in continuity.
Yep.
Any of Walt's kids.
Of course.
Andy.
Andy. I was about to say Andy. Yeah, so many of them already set up.
Yeah, so that's why it's easier to do with DC because you don't have to go like, what would this kid be? What would this kid be? What would this kid be? Because they already exist.
Yep. Well, yeah, Hal and Carol having a kid could be an interesting one.
Yeah, there you go.
They have not done that.
And Tavia, let's have one speedster.
Well, if they go with the Kingdom Come, then it would be Irie.
Yes, just do one because having too many speedsters in this scenario where you could just go back in time, I'm sorry, that's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It complicates things. It complicates things.
Plus, it's just over. See, here's the problem.
It's the one reason why they had to take Thor off the table. He's a story breaker.
That's the problem with doing this with DC because half the Justice League are just Thor level characters. Here's what you do.
I think the daughter of a daughter of Ollie and Dinah.
Dinah. Here's what you do. Here's the story. Darkseid invades, or you do Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Except you don't kill the Justice. You have them be mind controlled by the villain.
Perhaps.
That way, at the end of the movie, you could have like the kids free their parents, and then they fight the villain together, kind of like in that Super Sons
Magazine, Laura Elf, Themyscira. You mean Miller's version? No. She would be too much of a handful.
If that could actually be an interesting story, though. But we're talking about in the Prime Earth. Laura's not in the Prime Earth, unfortunately.
Right, even that though, like I said, you wouldn't want. I don't think people would want to see that version of her.
Yeah. Even if obviously you know what I'm going to do if I were in charge, and I would not even bring in that version. Obviously,
but
as much as I like Laura, too controversial.
You know what? I would actually make it a son, but if I was to do that, and I was to do something with Superman and Wendy, it would be a son, just to make it different.
Hunter Prince. There you go. Wait, they kind of did this in the Rebirth book.
That is true.
Except the villain's not going to be like a dark force that R-worded Wonder Woman, and Hunter can be actually her and Superman's kid. There you go, Brian Hitch.
Yep. Mr. Terrific's kid. Okay, Tavia, let's not go overboard.
No.
That's only a recent thing that just brought him back.
Tavia, we're not going to... Let's keep this to like 5 kids. We're not going to bring in every Justice Leaguer's kid because then it's like keeping every Justice Leaguer. They didn't even do this with this. They kept it with the core Justice League Avengers' kids.
The Avengers they could have. The Avengers they could have. Now, what character could you still see being around like Tony and all that? If we were to keep it to a minimum.
Bruce.
Here's one. Actually, I was going to say, I was going to keep Bruce dead. That way, because everyone expects... Okay, you know what? Have you noticed it's become a double cliche now? Either they have Bruce because, of course, Batman survived, or they kill off Batman just to subvert that obvious thing.
Yeah.
They've done that so many times that itself has become obvious.
Well, didn't they kind of keep Bruce alive in the DC Universe online tie-in comics?
A lot of
They
kids
turned him
were
into a
kept alive
cyborg.
in that.
They turned him into a cyborg.
Oh, you mean in the regular world that Lex came from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even though we saw him get blown up and everything.
Mac brings up a good idea. Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman probably could be, definitely be one I could see still around.
Here's the thing. I would like it. Keep the non-God powered individual alive because then it's like Wonder Woman could defeat this villain.
Okay, dude, hear me out on something here. Hear me out. Go with what King has done with I'm saying that because of it, currently, with Trinity, but has a good reason. It could be similar to what Thor did with Torunn. She felt abandoned by her mother.
We already did that with the Brian Hitch Rebirth book.
No, I get that, but I'm thinking of something of here. It would make a bit more sense given the state of the world.
Well, as long as we could have Trinity die in a very embarrassing way.
Okay, no, dude, I'm
and
trying
Robert, to that idea, I say this. Even Max says no.
I'm just throwing that out there the way to say it could be viable.
Being royal. If this is a movie, he's going to get royalties. I do not want him to get shit.
All right.
I knew you had that button ready to go.
Thank you, Teladia. Tim Drake Robin can survive. That's another one. We could be one of the Robins, like Nightwing or Jason.
Or if go ahead.
Barbara.
Maybe.
Yeah. I also forgot to mention, Jared, to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's on this film. Tom Kane is also he's the voice of Ultron. And
I mentioned
we said that earlier.
And unfortunately, he's retired because of a stroke.
Yeah. Cameron says, my only problem with that, Robert, is that it would be Diana being a bad mother.
And it depends on the reasons, though.
But here's the problem. We already have that with Trinity now, where she talks about Diana's toxic parenting.
It makes no sense with what's been going on with Trinity.
There's a lot that doesn't make sense.
I get that. I'm saying, though, but if we're going off of the state of this world, and there could be much more likely to have some reason why. Maybe Diana was forced off when Themyscira was they left the realm.
Yeah,
I mean, that could have happened, and she's been trying to get back, but Trinity doesn't know that, so she thinks, as far as she thinks, I got abandoned.
Oh, I got a good one.
Why would Cassandra Cain be the one that's brought back? Luthor.
Now, would he be a bad guy, or would he be someone who feels like, what's the point of continuing on my hatred?
I got it. Here's what we do. He created the villain that took over the world and killed everyone.
Better idea.
Yeah.
Better idea. The villain is his daughter after giving her up the Brainiac.
Oh.
Yes.
Selena Luthor stuff. And now he regrets it.
Yeah, because he's like, and then they ask him, why are you all of a sudden having a conscience? And he goes, what good is having a world to rule if it's broken?
Well, not just that, but also that's what he could say at face value. But then someone else could call him out on it and then say, I sacrificed my daughter under the belief that Brainiac would keep his word. And then instead, he used her against me and transformed her.
Yeah, and you could go, if there's one thing I don't respect more than a being with powers, it's someone that breaks their word.
Yeah, so you're not upset that he malformed your daughter? To which Lex will be divided on that.
Yeah, but now that's a story right there. Lex Luthor being the one that has to to fix everything.
Exactly, because he caused it. And here's the other thing. I'm thinking then Lena took over from Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like when as soon as Lena killed all the heroes, she killed Brainiac because she saw him as a threat to her power.
Because she's still a Luthor.
Yeah. What do you want to say, Teladia?
I was going to say I had a really good one.
Which is
what's Artemis's kid growing up?
Artemis? Which kid?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, her and Jason.
Yeah.
They have a kid?
No. That would be something we could create.
Oh, yeah, that would work. Yeah, 100%.
That would be something. That would be something I want to would like to create as a new thing.
Or it could be Jason with Rose instead. Either of those couples work.
And they did Jason with Rose and Deceased.
Yep. So it could be either one works.
That actually works really well. I like that a lot.
So I just had a brain thought.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that pairing.
Which one?
Jason and Rose. It just somehow works.
Well, yeah, they're both like murderers that kind of had to like see redemption and stuff. I kind of like that.
I gotta say, I really felt bad when Jason died, and how the writing said because of her precog, she watched her husband die twice.
Yeah.
I just thought of the idea because I just thought, why don't we have something to do with Artemis? We haven't had that.
Artemis is.
Here's
the issue. I think unfortunately they've been pushing so much of the warrior onto Wonder Woman that people kind of look at Artemis as redundant in adaptations.
Yeah, because Artemis is the warrior. She is 100%. She embraces the warrior part in the same way that like she's like Diana if Diana abandoned the peacemaker part.
Yeah, and. Or downplayed it. Maybe not abandoned, but downplayed it. Because Artemis is not that, overboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just thought.
But I'm saying but that's the unfortunate thing. The moment they started putting more emphasis on the warrior for Wonder Woman, Artemis has since become redundant, and that hurts.
Well, then, it's the funny part. There's a simple way to fix that. Don't.
I know.
But again, they put too many writers on the book that only see Wonder Woman as like Xena the warrior princess.
Yeah. Which was funny when they had her voice her in New Frontier.
I know.
I still always remember Bruce Timm and the interview like, duh.
Yeah, I'm like, why wouldn't you? Because it's very clear that Xena was inspired by Wonder Woman. I mean, it's very obvious.
And that was the most, like he said, that was the biggest duh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what? I'm surprised she hasn't. I'm surprised that's like the only time she's ever voiced Wonder Woman because that would actually work really well.
There's the door, spaceman.
Yeah, I love that. I would actually love if they let her do her Australian accent as well. That could kind of work.
I really loved seeing the behind the scenes, just seeing her chilled response as she's reading. Like they captured these women to use. You can see her being this chilled while reading that line. Like you can so tell. She knew what she was reading and all that kind of a voice.
Yeah, I like that. But anyways, so I think that's a good place to leave it. So we're good. So we did next Avengers. So Robert, since it's your pick, do you want to reveal to the people what the movie's going to be?
Sure thing. We're going to do DC superhero girls show, Teen Titans Go, Mayhem in the Multiverse.
Yeah,
the grand finale for that show.
Mm-hmm. It's like the end. They ended that show with a movie, in other words, is what they'll do.
Yep. And to be fair, the Teen Titans Go barely appear in it as they joke in the movie. They were tacked on for their popularity.
Yeah, exactly. So, Robert, where can we find on your channel?
You can go to youtube.com/Willin, WILLIN. I have Pro Teachers Noobs, and it's still trying to get my spin-off stuff off the ground, but for the most part, I am still working on new videos. Pika Shades and I have already gotten all of the White Knightverse videos in the can.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got everything up to Generation Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Teladia, how about you?
Tomorrow I'll be doing a reaction video to the sneak peek of Superman, which is dropping with a content creator, and also I'll be doing the podcast, an emergency episode to the podcast with Into the Multiverse with Jared. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then Snyder Fans Read Comics on Wednesday. So there's that too.
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. So for me at 9 p.m. Eastern time, Britt and I are going to be going live to talk about like the impact that like Milestone and like African American superheroes have had, our favorite African American heroes and stuff. And then Wonder Woman Wednesday, I'm going to talk about why DC should stop pushing a love interest onto Diana and just write good stories. It's basically because that's one of the problems that's one of the issues that they have with writing Diana is they keep trying to give her a love interest, whether or not that be Steve or Clark or Bruce or any of the other characters, but I'm like, just focus on giving her good stories. It will work for you. So we have that movie. Then on Thursday, it's my birthday stream, so we'll be hanging out, doing some fun stuff, and talking about the Ed Brubaker run of Captain America, because I wanted to talk about that for so long.
Right.
And yeah, so that's what we got. Stay heroic, everyone. Robert, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. Steve Trevor is Steve Never. Belongs 6 feet in the ground. Zoe Samaxabat for life. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.